last unit of the last part of the first unit. Okay, so I hope you can see the screen. Let me just share the video with the content with you. Just a second. Okay. All right. So in the first class, we looked at the concept of communication. We discussed what is communication, where does the word communication come from, and we looked at a few definitions of communication with important keywords such as transmission, transfer, meaningful interaction, exchange of information, social system, right? And then we moved on to the need to communicate. Why do we communicate? We looked at it in three contexts, that is individual context, social context, and organizational context. And then we moved on to the effective communication methods. What are the aims and methods that are required to communicate effectively? All right, where you identify the objective of your communication and then you decide on how are you going to present your thoughts, choosing the appropriate medium and environment, and focusing on the paralinguistic features, and then waiting for a feedback. All right, so these were the effective aims and methods of effective communication. This was discussed in the part 1 of the lecture. And then let me just reshare the slide again. Good afternoon, Lakshita. Good afternoon, David, Prachi, Kashish, Srishti. Good afternoon. Of communication. I'm sure you went back and had a look at the SFIL material, discussed it, and tried to understand what we are doing in AECC. And so far, I hope the previous 2 lectures have been clear. And if you have any problems, you can, of course, contact me. And once you are clear with which class you are attending, that's English A, B, or C, we can form a WhatsApp group. All right. Yes. Good afternoon, Rupali, Kushal, Deshu, Ria, Akshita, Sonam, Bhavya, Kajal, Julia. Thank you for joining in. All right. So let's start. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So let's start with the process of communication. I hope you can see it on the screen. I've zoomed it a little. Okay, so I hope the screen is visible. You can go ahead and take screenshots if you wish. Right. Yeah. So this is the process of communication, all right? And we've already looked at the aims and methods of effective communication, where we discussed that you need to have an object, you need to have a proper medium and environment, you need to be careful or mindful of the paralinguistic features. Paralinguistic features means the gestures, your hands does, your tone, your voice, your pitch, right? And your eye expressions, right? Your facial expressions, your eye contact, that constitutes paralinguistic features, right? And then you try to communicate your message in the best possible way, and then you wait for a feedback, right? Something what we're doing right now too, right? I am delivering a lecture in English, right? I am discussing communication theory with you as students of BCom, right? So this is our communication, right? And here you will be sitting for exam, you'll be giving your exam at the end of the semester on this particular paper, where you will be questioned from the lessons that I will teach. Okay, so here let's look at the process of communication. What is it? So this is a very important part of communication theory for you as students as well. So I want you to remember this diagram. It's pretty simple. Always remember remember, while we are doing communication, while we are doing while we study in these lectures, it is something that you already know. So don't feel intimidated by the knowledge. Do not feel scared about the new terms that we are using. It is something that we are already doing on a day-to-day basis. All right. So just look at the examples. Try to form examples in real life and connect it to what is being taught to you in the lecture. So that is the easiest solution to understand and go ahead with the theory that we are studying, right? Go about the theory that we're studying. So here, for example, we have the sender or the encoder, right? A sender is also an encoder, someone who's encoding a message, right? I am trying to give you a lecture, right? Through this virtual communication space that we are in right now. Okay, and you too have downloaded Microsoft Teams, so you can have a look at the lectures, you can attend the lectures. All right, so here I am the sender that is encoding the message in English, right? And I'm sending it through you virtually. And I am encoding the message in through a particular channel or media. How am I doing it? I'm doing it virtually using the application Microsoft Teams. All right, and then the receiver or the decoder, that is you are going to decode my message, right? You're going to understand what am I saying in English, right? You're maybe making notes or you're making mental notes and you're trying to understand what I'm saying. And then you have decoded the message. You have understood what I'm saying. And if you have understood what I'm saying, then you would respond back to me. You'll give me a feedback, right? You'll give me a feedback. Yes, ma'am, I've understood. If there are any questions, you would ask me a question. All right, so this is the process of communication. Something again, I'll give you another example. Sender, encoder, you're feeling sad, you're feeling happy, you want to text your friend, you want to WhatsApp her, right? You are the sender or the encoder. You pick up your phone, you encode the message. You pick up your phone and you know what, you decide to just send a message to your friend using emojis, right? So we have emojis that mean different things, right? So in through a particular channel or media we have over here, we're using WhatsApp or we're using Instagram, right? So we are sending that message through Instagram or WhatsApp using emojis, and then your friend receives that message and decodes that message that this particular emoji means something. So immediately you get a feedback, "Are kya hua? What is up?" Right? So you are already having these these conversations with different people in your life, whether with your peers, your classmates, your parents, your siblings, anyone that is sitting near you or is connected through you virtually. All right, so this is the process of communication that you need to remember, and you can get a long answer on what is the process of communication, where you will discuss each term, that is sender, encoder, encoding the message, receiver, feedback, decoding the message, medium, right? You will define each term that is used and you will draw a diagram. Okay, so let's move on to the definitions. So communication is a process in which at least two individuals are involved, sender or the encoder of the message and the receiver or the decoder. Okay, the sender has an idea, need, motivation, desire to communicate to the listener, and she encodes the message in language. It can even be a gesture or paralanguage, right? A gesture or paralanguage, like I've talked about, facial expressions, eye contacts, etc., and sends the message using a particular medium or channel, such as oral or written or electronic. What are we doing right now? We are doing it orally. What are you doing? You are doing written communication, right? And you're doing it electronically. So it's also a form of electronic communication and written communication. You're writing down your feedback, right? You're sending it electronically using the chat option, okay, to the receiver. So you have the sender or the encoder of the message and the receiver or the decoder. You have chosen a particular medium or channel to communicate your message. Then the receiver tries to decode so that she comprehends what the encoder means or intends. If the encoder and the decoder share the same basis of encoding and decoding the sounds and symbols, then the communication succeeds. For example, if I start speaking in French or Spanish, you will not understand. You send me a message on WhatsApp and I am not on WhatsApp, I am on Instagram, and then you will say message Mila, and then again there's a barrier in communication. I'll say no, I did not get any message. Right, sometimes it happens that someone keeps calling on your cell and your cell is probably switched off, or you've put it on silent and you're using other apps. So you can say that no, I did not get your message. Okay, then but if the semantic base of the sender and the receiver is different, then it leads to miscommunication. When I say semantic base, it sometimes means that if I'm using one particular word that you perhaps do not understand, right, and I'm saying everything but then you do not understand what I'm trying to say, so that again causes a problem that also hampers communication, right? Anything that I can say, you know what, for example, if you use some kind of slang with me, that oh my god, it's so lit, right? And you say this in front of your parents who may not understand what lit is, right? So they might think that oh my god, kuch aag lag gayi hai, right? That is, isn't it, that we are when we say the candle is lit, right, we are lighting the candle, right? So similarly, if you use words like that that means something and the other person does not understand, then there is an issue, and that is going to hamper the communication. So miscommunication or hampered communication can also happen if appropriate channel or media is not used, or if the communication environment is noisy. Now, what do I mean by this? For example, if you want to you want to send a message on WhatsApp, right? And what if the other person's storage is full and he cannot receive any messages, right? Or for example, you want to send a couple of snaps to your friend documenting the party that you are in, and the other person does not have a Snapchat, and you're like, you know what, I sent you snaps, can't you see the snaps that I'm sending you? So these are the communication, the appropriate channels are not being used. And for example, if I start taking a lecture on Instagram live, right, so if you will forget me and you just focus on what's happening on Instagram, so Instagram live may not be the right medium or the channel, the environment to deliver a lecture. That is why we are here on Microsoft Teams, right? But for example, if I'm attending a party, if I'm out with my friends and I want to document that to my fellow followers, then I would not be doing that on Google Meet or Microsoft Teams, right? I would be doing it on Snapchat or Instagram Live, right? So appropriate channel or media is to be selected for proper communication of the message. Then this is the only one aspect of communication, that is, communication is complete only when the decoder sends feedback to the encoder, which tells the sender whether his or her message has been grasped or not, right? So the process of communication will only end when you receive a feedback. All right, if you receive a feedback, then you can understand that the communication has been completed, right? So your communication can be one way or it can be two ways. Right now we're having a one-way conversation because I cannot see the chat screen and I only have my PPT right in front of me, right? So right now I am delivering a lecture and it's a one-way communication. But for example, if it is a two-way communication, it can involve two people talking, two friends talking, right? And people talking on WhatsApp, people talking on Instagram, on Snapchat. All right. So for English A students in particular, you can get questions like this. You can be given like a paragraph, for example, and you can be asked, you can be given a few lines like, a weather report that that you see on the news. What kind of communication is that? Anyone who would like to answer this question? When you are watching a weather report, then what kind of communication is it? My God. Ishika. Ishika is asking question if we speak in Spanish or French and the other person has no idea about the language or is perhaps not fluent in that language, then why is it that the communication is not going to be counted? Ishika, it is going to be counted. It's just going to be said that it is there's a barrier in communication. All right. So, for example, if you go to France, you go to a Spanish country, you go to Spain, and you do not know the language, but the locals over there are going to speak that particular language. So, yes, it is your fault, but then what can they do? They'll try to speak to you in broken Spanish, or they're going to try to speak to you in broken English for you to better understand what is happening, right? So, there will definitely be a linguistic barrier, but then communication will only happen when you will be able to understand what they're trying to say. For example, you want to say where is the restaurant, and they don't know English, but they will point it out to you, using their gestures. Ki, go here, go there, and then you'll be like, okay, fine. So there is a kind of communication. There's no fault. There's nobody at fault over here. Okay. One way communication, very good, very good. Please let me just repeat it again that do not worry about the WhatsApp group, do not worry about the textbook or the material. I will provide you with everything. I'll provide you with everything. Just wait, hear out what is being taught to you in the lectures. Be comfortable with the material that is being presented to you right now. Understand what the teacher is teaching you. You will get everything at the end. Do not focus on the end and forget the process of reaching there. Okay, but if I start with everything and just give you, you're going to you're going to study from this text or you're going to study from that material, then I'm sure you will stop attending the classes and then you'll just focus on those books and materials and then you will not understand anything. So it's better for you right now to understand what is being taught to you and then later look at the materials and try to recall what is being taught in the class. I think this is the third class and third time for me repeating that do not worry about anything else. I will provide you with everything. You do not need to worry about the material, the textbook, or anything. Everything is going to be taught to you, everything will be given to you by me. So just focus on the lectures, okay? Just focus on the present. 1 hour lectures, that's it. And you are focusing आगे क्या होने वाला है. Do not do that. Okay, very good. Sonam has responded. Sonam, Ruchi, Aditya. Very good. Ruchi, Ria, Farheen, Ishika, Bhavya, Rohit, Nikhil. Good. It's one-way communication. Aditya, Anand, right? And you talking to your friend on WhatsApp. What kind of communication is that? Very good. Archit, Shikha, Trishu. You talking to your friend. What kind of communication is that? Archit, we only use Microsoft Teams as part of our SOL class delivery. So we do not use Google Classroom or anything. And there won't be any assignments. So. Two-way, very good. Roshan Kumar, Pragati Goyal, two-way communication, yes. Ria Singh, Chandani, Shruti, Ishika, Ruchi, okay. Muskan, Vanshika, Archit, Arya, Aradhna, good. Now, Aradhna, it's informal. Yes, it's informal, but what I'm asking is one-way or two-way. Akshita, Akash, Kajal, okay. All right, Dipanshu, Aditya. Dipanshu, you can message me in the chat box over here. Jia, Sonam, very good. All right. Okay, that's good. That's good. And let me look at a few other examples. When a doctor is explaining to a patient, when a doctor is explaining to a patient what is wrong with him or giving his diagnosis, what kind of communication is that? When a doctor is telling a patient that, you know what, you have fever and you have to take your Panadol. What kind of two-way? Okay, good, very good. Ishta, Mitali, Agampreet, very nice. All right. And what kind of communication is when you go to Sarojini and you tell the shopkeeper कि नहीं भैया 50 का नहीं 100 का नहीं 50 का दो. What kind of communication is that? And the shopkeeper says, no, it's for 100, I'll give you 400 only. Kanika, how is it one way? No. Muskan is right. Sonam, Prakriti, Vanshika, Jyoti, Farheen, Vaishali, Honey, Shruti, two-way. Okay. Okay, Vanshika. All right, Honey. Okay, Archit. Yes, it's also a two-way communication. All right. So you have got the gist of it. And what if a teacher is delivering a lecture and the students are silent? For example, if you attend a seminar, no, not a seminar, people talk in a seminar. While you are attending a lecture, what kind of communication is that? When you're attending a lecture. When you're attending a lecture. Attending a lecture. Someone is delivering a lecture. Harshita, I'm sorry if I didn't take your name. They're like 362 messages in front of me, so I'm sorry if I miss your name. Yash, right? One way. No, Siddha, it's not a two-way process. If someone is delivering a lecture, just one person is delivering. Archit, Shruti, Chandni, Devit, Jaya, Sagar, Aditya, good. And if you're watching news, that's also a one way. All right. So these questions can come, you know, like you have a list of sentences and they'll tell you what kind of communication is it. Is it a one-way communication or a two-way communication? All right. And sometimes, yes, thank you, Akshit. Akash, Awad, Shreya, Tulsi, Azdak, Ehtisham, Garima, Urvashi, Vanshika, Kushi, Honey. So, for example, you'll be given like a paragraph and you'll be asked these questions, right? What is one-way communication? Provide examples from the paragraph of one-way communication, two-way communication. And then later when we're going to do verbal communication and written communication, you can be asked like, provide examples from the paragraph of verbal communication, written communication. All right, so these are the things that you need to keep in mind. Okay, these are the questions that can be asked to you in your exam. Okay, and also remember the process of communication. Now we move on to the definitions. Again, I'll say that do not worry that if you do not remember all of the definitions. The point for you is to understand what is being taught to you and to try to get the gist of the key terms that we are going to be using. Some of these terms are terms that you are already aware of, and if you are not aware of these terms, then they will be focused on in the coming lectures. So do not get like, oh my god, iska kya matlab hota hai? I do not understand this. Don't worry, you will be explained to it in detail. For example, if I use paralinguistic features again and again, they will be talked to you in the forthcoming lectures. Again, I'll repeat paralinguistic features. Just remember that, you know, the gestures that we are doing, the eye contact, the ebb and flow of the pitch. Like for example, I'm speaking in a particular pitch, right? I can speak slowly, I can speak very loudly. So that is the pitch that, you know, we are changing, and that constitutes paralinguistic features. Do not worry about it. It will be taught to you in the coming lectures. Now we're going to look at a few important terms. Let me just see if you can now look at the screen a little. All right, so active listening. What is active listening? Process of analyzing and evaluating what another person is saying in an effort to understand the speaker's feelings or the true meaning of the message, right? So if you're actively listening to me, if you're actively answering my questions, you will know what is being taught to you. But if you're passively, if you're not listening, if you're disinterested, if you're perhaps on your mobile phones, then it is not going to constitute as active listening. All right, then audience. What is audience? A group of individuals attending to a common media. For example, watching a film, watching news, watching a lecture that is being delivered to you. They receive communication from the same source but are not active participants and do not communicate with each other. Collection of individuals who have come together to watch or listen to someone or something, such as to listen to a speech. Okay, then brainstorming, something that we use commonly in offices, in organizational spaces, or when this is when we have to come up with a solution to a problem, right? For example, if I tell you you have to come up with an idea to work on for the upcoming debate, then you will all brainstorm an idea, right? So brainstorm, a technique designed to foster group productivity by encouraging interacting group members to express their ideas in a non-critical fashion, right? It's a non-critical fashion. In a non-critical fashion, people come together to discuss what they think is the right idea for a problem. All right, then campaign. In advertising, a large number of ads that stress the same thing and appear over a specified length of time, right? For example, if right now the political elections are going on, and they're all running different campaigns. One is talking about Vikas, one is talking about women empowerment, the other might be talking about just basic social needs, right? So everyone is bringing their campaigns to the people. And for example, even in advertisements, we are we can look at this particular mobile phone for Apple, right? The way they have campaigns about this is what you need, this is something that's missing in your life, whether it's an Apple Watch, whether it's an iPhone. It's become like a symbol. It's become a symbol of wealth, a social status. So the campaigns are designed in a manner to promote that, right? So that's a campaign where all of the advertisements, everything, any promotional activity is linked by a similar theme or activity, right, over a specified length of a time. So for example, remember when we used to watch IPL earlier, used to have these campaigns of Vodafone which used Zuzu, right, to talk about their amazing network service, right? Then you have chronomics, something that we'll do in the upcoming lectures. Do not worry about it. Chronomics is the study of how people perceive structure and the use of time as communication. For example, in an interview, when you're called at 8 o'clock and you reach at 9 o'clock, then the interviewer might not like it, and he will probably think that you are lazy or you're not interested in the job. All right, and if you be before time, like 1 hour, then you're you're just trying to impress them, or something's clearly wrong, that you do not get the message, right? So chronomics is a study of time. Do not worry about this particular term. We will study this later. Then code. Set of rules or symbols used to translate a message from one form to another, right? We all use codings where we have for example, we may have computer languages. We have computer languages that use different kinds of computer languages. In particular, we have Python, we have HTML, we have Java, and we try to code using that languages. We try to code to create different applications, right? And we all follow a particular set of codes to express ourselves in language, like for example A, B, and C. C-A-T is cat, B-A-T is bat, right? We always focus on those sounds. We always focus how these alphabets are connected to create that particular sound, right? So if language is a system, right? It's a system of codes that we all follow and we all learn. It does not come naturally to us, right? Then communication flow, again something that we will be doing later in the coming lectures and the next lectures perhaps. The direction, upward, downward, horizontal messages travel through the networks of the organization. So communication flow can happen, what is happening right now, right? So it was an upward communication or is it downward communication? It's a downward communication because I am a teacher and you are a student. But had we been teachers, then it would have been horizontal communication because we are on the same level. Right now, I am a teacher and you are a learner, so it is a downward communication. But if you are talking to a teacher who is one step above you in the social hierarchy, then just a second. Sorry, just a second. Yes, sorry. So Krishna Bahadur has also responded, and yeah, most of you have responded to our lecture. Nisha. Yeah, so one of you asked that if one is delivering a lecture and if the student responds, then it becomes a two-way. Then it becomes a two-way lecture. If you receive a feedback verbally, and if I'm looking at the chat, then it becomes a two-way. If two people are talking to each other, but the second is not speaking to anyone, first person asking the question to second person, but third person came and started. It's a two-way conversation. It's Krishna Bahadur, it's again a two-way conversation. Even if the other person is sitting and you get a feedback from someone else, again it involves two parties. So it's a two-way communication. It does not involve, it doesn't mean how many people are there in front of you. It just means that as a class you can respond to me, right? You can all, if I say, should I set you an assignment, and then whole class says, no, ma'am. So that's again a two-way conversation. All right, it doesn't mean you shouldn't focus on how many students are going to respond, right? You should only focus on if the message that is being delivered is there or not, or you're getting the feedback or not, right? So let's go back to discussing the key terms. All right, so just a second. Yeah. So we have looked at the communication flow, right? For peer-to-peer, for example, if you are talking to your classmates, it will be on the same level. So it will be horizontal, on the same level. Do not worry, I'll be discussing this in the coming lectures. All right, then communication network, something again we're going to do. The patterns of communication flow between individuals and organization, pre-established patterns dictating who may communicate with whom. Like a manager communicating with the clients, clients communicating with the employees, employees communicating with the manager. it is a communication network, which we will be doing. Don't worry. Controlled media. Those media that the public relations practitioner has actual control over, such as company newsletter. So, for example, if you work in an organization and every month is a newsletter, and the company is very, very careful about to publish in the newsletter, right? They do not publish anything that is written against the company or written against an employee, right? So things are obviously going to be circulated about what they think is right or wrong, and something that's happening today also in today's age, that news channels, according to us, may be talking about certain kind of things and maybe forgetting certain kind of things. So it's a kind of a controlled media now. Right? Then you have critical analysis, form of research that goes beyond description and explanation to argue for changes in communicative practices that are judged to be oppressive, wrong, otherwise undesirable. So, for example, in your essay, when you are perhaps looking at sociology, history, literature, you can have an opinion about a certain piece. You think that this is not right, and you will be giving examples to that. So that can be a form of critical analysis. Then critical listening. Listening that judges the accuracy of the information presented, determines the reasonableness of its conclusions, and evaluates its presenter. So, for example, if you are delivering a paper, you are giving a lecture to a certain kind of audience, and they have questions about it, they have doubts about it, they're uncertain about certain parts, and they will be responding to it a certain in a particular manner, and that's critical listening. If you are listening to criticize or comment on, then it is a kind of a critical listening behavior. Then you have cross-cultural communication. Communication of different combinations of people across a cultural communication study might compare and contrast Japanese and American negotiation tactics, for example. So you have examples like, even something, how are the schools in Delhi versus how are the schools in Bangalore, right? The use of the slang in Delhi, in East Delhi, and the use of the slang in South Delhi, right? So there's a cross-cultural communication where you're studying two groups of people or two groups that are different to each other. Then decoding. What is decoding? Process of translating a message into thoughts or feelings that were communicated. Decoding, like receiver, for example, what you are doing, you're trying to unpack what I'm saying, you're trying to understand it through the examples that I'm giving to you, you're decoding the message, right? Then when you send a WhatsApp and your friends decode your emojis that you have sent, right? Democratic leadership style. The leader seeks group member participation in determining group goals and procedures. If you're working in an organization, much similar to what we do in India, it's a democracy where we elect a leader. In an organization too, if a manager is, going to lead by listening to every opinion of the person, of the employee that he is sitting above, then that is a democratic leadership style. Then downward communication, communication from higher members of the organization, that's managers and vice presidents and CEOs, to the member lower in the organization hierarchy, right? For example, if a dean is addressing the HOD is addressing a teacher is addressing a student. That is downward communication. Upward will be student talking to a teacher talking to HOD talking to the dean talking to the vice chancellor of the university or something like that, right? Then diet is a two-person communication system, very simple. Emphatic listening is to understand what the other person is thinking or feeling, right? For example, if you go to a friend for help, or when you're very happy, when you're very angry, or when you're sad, and your friend actually is listening to you to understand what you're saying. Truly, he wants to understand what your feelings are or what your thoughts are. Then encoding, process by which the source expresses thoughts or feelings in words, sounds, and physical expressions, which together make up the actual message that is being sent. All right, then we have just a second. Then we have ethos. Sorry. Ethos is again an Aristotelian concept. Don't worry about it. It means persuasion, the person character of the speaker. Like what is he thinking? How is he feeling? What kind of a leader he or she is? What kind of a speaker that he or she is, right? Then you have evaluative listening, where you're judging to analyze the information that is in front of you. Then feedback, anything that you receive as a message. Sorry, when you receive any kind of a message, any message that aids a communicator in evaluating the success of previous message. For example, if I get back a chat saying yes ma'am, I've understood the lecture, then it's a positive kind of a feedback. Or you ask me a question again, then I'll answer you back, and then you say okay, I've understood. So that kind of message is a feedback. Then function of communication, according to Cicero, that's the function of communication is either to entertain, to inform, to persuade, or to stimulate, right? And then gatekeeper. What is a gatekeeper? Any person or group who controls what media material eventually reaches the public. Okay, editor, reporter, news director, any or other person decides what material is to be printed, broadcasted, or otherwise offered to the public. All right. So anyone who is perhaps the editor of a newspaper, or the director of a particular news, of an organization that is taking out newsletters every month, right? A reporter on the channels, right? They're all giving you information that their media house deems as appropriate to share. Then glass ceiling. Glass ceiling is a barrier preventing females from reaching top positions in many organizations. And that's why we have the saying that you need to break the glass ceiling, right? Then grapevine, something that we're going to do later in the lectures. It's a organization's informal channel of communication based mainly on friendships and acquaintances. Then haptics, something that we'll be doing along with chronomics. Haptics is tactile or touch communication, one of the most basic forms of communication. For example, when we shake hands with each other, when we hug, who can we hug and who can we shake hands with? All right. Then we have, sorry, what is this happening? Then we have horizontal communication. Horizontal communication is between organizations like, where, you're talking to fellow classmates. Teachers are talking amongst teachers. Deans are talking to deans, right? Then you have informal communication systems, communication links and networks, which arise through natural human interaction. For example, two workers who might have no formal communication links may be connected in the informal communication system because they both play on the company golf team or each lunch together, right? For example, I am teaching in an English department, and this is my friend in sociology department, and we started meeting because we used to travel to the campus together. Right, so this is an informal communication system. You are talking to another friend of yours who's perhaps studying history, and you met because you always take the same metro. Then interpersonal communication is exchange between two or more persons in close proximity using conversation and gestures. Communication between two people. Then intra-personal, don't worry, we will be doing this inter and intra, communicating with yourself, including self-talk, planning, reflections, mirror talk, right? Kinesics, chronomics, haptics, kinesics. Kinesics is referred to as body language, any movement of the face or body that communicates a message. Then KISS principle it means to keep it short and simple. Anything message, whether you're delivering a message or whether you're writing down, keep it as short as possible. Whether you're writing emails, we always say to keep it as short as possible. Do not just go on and on and on rambling about the message. If it's a message that you need to deliver, just get over with it. Then language, structured system of signs, sounds, gestures, and marks used and understood to express ideas and feelings among people within a community, nation, geographic area, or cultural tradition. All right, so language is something that has everything. It has signs, it has sounds, it has gestures. Then you have liaisons. Liaisons are persons who link to groups, but it's not a member of either group. Individuals who serve as a linking party, connecting to or more groups within organizational communication. So, for example, you need to talk to the editor of a different publication house, and you're a publication agent yourself too. So, you will find a kind of a liaison that can help you connect to the other person, right? So that is liaison. Then you have listening, the active process of receiving oral stimuli by hearing, selecting, attending, understanding, evaluating, and remembering. Something that you are doing right now while I'm delivering a message. Logos is an Aristotelian concept associated with persuasion proof or apparent proof provided with the words used in the speech. Mainstreaming, it argues that heavy television viewing diminishes differences perceptions of reality caused by demographic and social factors. Like I've said, do not worry about these terms. These are the terms that you already know and are aware of, and you're for the first time we are defining it. And some of the terms are extremely important to you, which you will see in the coming lectures. All right, then you have mass communication, the process by which a complex organization with the aid of one or more machines produces and transmits public messages that are directed at large heterogeneous and scattered audiences. Then you have mass media. Mass media involves everything like newspapers, television, right? Anything that communicates on a mass level to a lot of people, right? Then you have mechanistic organization. Mechanistic organization, an organization structure in which people perform specialized jobs. Many rigid rules are imposed and authority is vested in a few top ranking officials. Message, anything that you receive, right, or you are sending, set of verbal and non-verbal rules. For example, you're just sending a gesture to your friend that, so it means smile, right? If you feel, if your friend is sitting away from you and is not smiling, then meta communication is the process of communicating about communication. All right, then metaphor, you're aware of what a metaphor is. This figure of speech in which a word or phrase relates to one object or idea to the another. Model, a verbal or pictorial description or representation of process, like we looked at the flow of communication right at the beginning. Then we looked at newsletters. Newsletters are internal documents that are published in a company, in an organization. Then you have noise. Noise, again, you know, it's something we're going to study later. Noise means any kind of disruption in the communication flow, right? Then you have non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is communication that is done without words. It can be done through gestures, it can be done through visual expressions, right? Then organizational chart. Organizational chart representing the connections between various departments within an organization, right? For example, we can do like now vice chancellor, deans of different departments, and deans have different departments under, like for example with R as well, we have English, we have history, we have commerce, we have Hindi, we have Urdu, right? And within those departments we have teachers, and within after those teachers come students who are learning, you know, different subjects, right? Then you have proxemics, something they're going to do later again with chronemics, haptics. Proxemics is the study of the use of space and distance between individuals when they're communicating. Proxemics is how far you're going to stand from the receiver, right? Prime Minister stands really, he stands on the stage, right? A teacher stands a little more closer to the students in a class, and if you are very if you're friendly with each other, then you are standing even more closer. Perhaps you're sitting where your arms are touching, right? Then that is proxemics. Then you have publicity, publication of news about an organization or person for which time or space was not purchased. Red herring is a fallacy that uses irrelevant information to divert attention away from the real issue. Something that's done in organizations, something that's done in media too, that they will divert you with information that you do not require, right? Or you do not think is important because they're perhaps, you know, hiding something. Then source. Source is of course where the originator or the thought or the idea is coming from. Spamming, you are already aware of it. Spamming is unsolicited mass emails to members. Then speech community. Speech community is a group of people who share understandings of communication that are not shared by people outside the group. For example, we have like I've said, you speak a certain kind of a language, like the millennials speak a certain kind of language that Gen Z might not understand. Gen Z might speak a language that the millennials will understand. Right? Then there's this old people, the generations of our parents, that they may not understand what the millennials are speaking, right? So, and they are all using different kinds of language, every different kind of slangs that are being used, right? Then you have symbol, representation of any idea, type of symbol, sign which is arbitrary, agreed upon, is used to stimulate meaning, right? So you have different symbols at, right? We write blah 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 at the rate of Gmail. So what does that at mean, right? So that's a symbol that has been decided. So this is what the meaning is. Then you have target audience. In advertising, the segment of population for whom the product or service has an appeal, right? For example, if you are coming up with with a mobile phone, who is it going to connect to? Is it a mobile phone that's really high gentry that may connect to a certain classes, or is it a mobile phone that is pretty cheap, that is like around 10,000 and can connect to everyone, like for students and all, right? For example, if you have a perfume, is it a perfume used for women? Is it a perfume used by men? So what kind of perfume is it, right? What is the target audience? Is it young women? Is it women? Is it men? Is it young men? What is it? Okay, then you have technophile. Technophile, just a second. Yeah, you have technophile. Technophile means literally a lover of technology, someone who likes technology and benefits from it greatly. Then you have technophobia, that is fear of technology. Upward communication. Upward communication is from the lower members of the organizational hierarchy. For example, a employee talking to a manager, manager talking to a CEO, right? Students talking to teachers, teachers talking to HODs, HODs talking to the deans, etc. It's going from down to up, right? And verbal communication. Verbal communication is one or two major communication code systems associated with our spoken and written language, typically labeled as language. Verbal communication can include what we're doing right now, or verbal communication can include the chat box that you are sending me messages using letters, alphabets, using English, right? So it is written or spoken language. And then you have vertical chain of communication. Communication are different levels of hierarchies. It can be both upwards, it can be both downwards, right? It can be from managers to subordinates. It can be from subordinates to managers. It can be from a teacher to a student, student to a teacher, right? Then you have whistleblowing. What is whistleblowing? Is insiders telling the media what they know about the improper tactics by others. So if someone has a crucial piece of information at hand and they know if they're going to share it, then something big is going to happen. It could perhaps reveal something bad that's happening, something negative that's happening in the heart of the organization or the heart of the country. So that is whistleblowing. And then xenophobia. Xenophobia is the individual's irrational, obsessive hatred of people perceived as different and foreign. All right, so we complete all of these terms that form the part of communication. All right, and these are the key terms of communication. Some that you are aware of, some that might be new to you, and some that you may struggle to understand what they mean, but will be discussed, but they will be discussed in the future classes. So you don't have to worry with regarding to, proxemics, haptics, chronemics, all of this will be discussed. Then we have downward communication, upward communication, horizontal communication, lateral communication. These things will be discussed. And always remember, these are things that you know. So don't fight, don't feel intimidated. You all know what these things, use examples, come up with your own examples and try to understand what is being taught to you. All right. So, yes, Garima, it is a two-way communication when I look at your messages when you are responding to me. If a doctor asks the patient, is it a one-way communication? Nivedita, no. When a doctor is asking something of a patient and the patient will respond to it, na? So it is a two-way communication. It's a two-way communication when the patient and the doctor are both responding to each other. Coding, don't, if I'm asking you one-way communication or two-way communication, do not just think about everything like that. Coding, of course, it's just one way because you are actually, writing the code and everything. So, again, which books are to be referred? Which books are to be referred? All right. So, Kanika, everything is there on the SQL website, so you can get it. Yes, Kamran, we do have letter writing essay. These are, you have 5 units, okay? This was the first unit. We complete the first unit today, and you will have an entire unit on writing. Okay, so we will be looking at letters and essays then. It's there, Kanika, it's there on SOL, like from wherever you got your e-commerce material, from there you can get your English too. Anjali, xenophobia is when you dislike people from a certain, you like, speaking class or community or something like that. For example, if you go to Spain, or if you go to France, you're visiting a different foreign country, you go to Australia, and these people are looking down on you because they do not appreciate your foreignness. So that's xenophobia. Right, we always have very particular notions about, we hate this particular community because they may not look like us, they may not speak our language. Right, if you go any place in India and these people do not look like you or speak like you'll start, oh my god, why are they like that? So the hate that you have, that is xenophobia, and that is something that you do not need to have. It is uncalled for and it is rude. Thank you, Krishna. David, there's not going to be a test. You will only have an exam at the end. Abhishek, if the teacher is giving a speech, if she's delivering a lecture, if you're delivering a lecture and there is no response from the students, it's a one way. But after, like for example, after every lecture, at the end of every lecture, I'm sure you're having this with commerce also, right? Where a teacher comes and gives her delivers a lecture, and at the end she asks you if you have any problem. So then it becomes a two-way communication, because then you're responding in your feedback, giving a feedback, ma'am, we didn't understand this, we didn't understand that, right? Everything will be shared to you. Do not worry of the PPT or the books or anything. Okay. Thank you, Roshan. Thank you, Chandni. All right. So today we looked at the key terms of communication, and we also looked at the process of communication, where this particular diagram is very important. Don't worry, I'll share this with you. And we looked at each term in the process of communication: encoder, encoding, decoder, feedback, proper channel and media was discussed. Okay, so today we complete unit 1, and in the next class we will be starting with unit 2. Okay, so I do not have any information regarding the exams. Okay, and Anushka, only only Microsoft Teams will be used to conduct and deliver the lectures. All right, there is no information on the exams. Just focus on what is being taught to you at the moment, Urvashi. All right, so I will see you in the next class. In the meantime, of course, you can create a group. As of now, I have nothing to share with you. Once we complete the lectures, the information will be shared, the material will be shared with you. And I'll see you in the next class then. Okay, which is, I think, perhaps day after tomorrow, if I'm not wrong. Anyway, I'll see you in the next class. I hope you enjoy the lecture. See you. Bye-bye.
एंड कर दें मैडम?
जी 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 मैं कर रही हूँ।
ठीक है मैडम, ओके एंड कर रहे हैं।
ठीक है, थैंक यू
ओके।